What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Reffing with the Sappers. We're starting to get into the summer season when we do lots of tournaments. We've got an exciting game that happened very recently. This is a U17 Boys match between Folsom Lake Surf that's in the white, Woodland that's in the black. This one ended up being pretty lively with like 6 yellow cards and a red card to a player by the time it was all said and done. It'll be interesting. Let's see how it goes. Our first call of the match happens about a couple of minutes after kickoff. So here the ball's kind of up for grab. This Woodland player in black just comes charging through, jumps up, and while he's up in the air, the white team just gets his ankle and he falls down. Pretty easy call. Pretty awkward in how it happened, but we call it and we go forward. So this was a pretty chill game to get started. It was about 5 minutes until the very next decision point, and this one was even just a pretty straightforward handball decision. We ended up making this a no call. We're going to watch it. Right here, the ball just kind of pops up. It hits him in the elbow, and he's pulling his elbow in. He's got it really close to his body. I viewed that as a natural position. I feel like that one could go either way. So I go ahead and let that go, and we just keep playing. A couple of minutes later, we've got another no call here. Two players are just running and challenging for the ball. They're coming in here. They bump shoulder to shoulder in the challenge right there. Black gets kind of thrown off of it a little bit more because he's a kind of a smaller player, but I really viewed that as just a fair challenge between the two of them and let them play. Just a few seconds later, we have our next moment. Here, White's running with the ball. He's got possession. Black comes in and actually kind of picks his pocket a little bit, sticks his foot out, kicks the ball away over to his teammates. In the process, White just loses possession of it, ends up stumbling, but there was no hang up between their legs, no foul there, and we let that go on. About a minute later in the game, we've got a nice challenge here from the side. White has possession. Black comes in, does a really good slide tackle right there, gets the ball. Now, what I want to point out is he does go in with his cleats first, but he gets the ball and clears it out from the side. Doesn't really put this white player at risk here. You know, if he was more clumsy with that challenge and his cleats got him on the leg, then that would probably be a yellow card. But this one's just clean. He gets the ball, clears it out, and we let that play. No more than 10 or 15 seconds after that last call, we've got a controversial call here where a coach was upset. Frankly, I'm not even sure why he's upset. Let's watch it here. I do make this call on the field. Black has possessions coming over, White's coming over, trying to challenge, and right there he comes in, gets the black player on his ankle, and he goes down. Now let's go back and let's watch that in slow motion. So right here, he's coming in. White's going to make the challenge. He comes in with a kicking motion and gets him laces to laces there. And you can even hear in the camera, you can actually see the bottom of his cleats. So yes, definitely a foul. Nothing reckless about that. It's the player goes down. We make the call immediately. Like he's barely on the ground. I'm already got my whistle up to my mouth and calling it. But this coach ended up complaining about that call. He basically says, "Hey, where's the card?" And you can't really make it out here, but I think he also said he came in with his cleats. He didn't come in with his cleats there. And I end up going over and I'm shutting that down from the start. I'm not going to have it. I basically tell him your behavior is irresponsible and I needed to stop. So, you know, I don't want to even open up the door for them to be challenging us the whole game, and felt like this was early enough in the game that it just needed to be said from the beginning. And honestly, I didn't really have any real trouble with him the rest of the game.
It's really important to cut down on dissent immediately, especially in a tournament, because like based on this, usually they can get rowdy really, really quickly. So if you shut it down in the beginning, it makes it a bit less likely to happen during the rest of the game.
Yeah. A short time later, we've got another no call. This was potentially a dangerous play. I considered it, but did not call it. Well, it's going to come in here. White's going to kick up at this, and right there he gets the ball. The reason I didn't call this is his foot's further out away from Black's head. It looks close here. This isn't a great angle to see how far apart they were. I had an angle looking between them, and there was probably, maybe 6 inches, maybe a foot between them. It's very close to being a dangerous play, but also his cleats were nowhere nearby. I decided to let that go. Didn't call it, but it was right on the borderline, and it was something I started to watch for in the rest of the game. Carrying on in the game, right after this throw in, we have a trip, and right there, white is just turning, like has his back to the player behind him. It's really awkward, but he catches him with his left leg as he's turning. It's totally unintentional, but the laws of the game don't say anything about intentionality, and it causes black to go down. So we go ahead and we call that for a trip. It's pretty straightforward, though not your kind of normal, typical trip that you would see a lot of times. Carrying on here, we've got a really straightforward one. The ball's coming out, black's clearing it, and right there, white just goes through his back and pushes him down. Both Aaron and I say, I quickly signal direction. We give them a direct free kick, and yeah, they don't get a lot easier than that. So up next here, we've got two really quick decisions that happen in rapid succession. So white's on the attack. Right here, they come through, and right there, this black player does a really great job, does a nice slide tackle, gets the ball, clears it out. Then white initiates the contact and trips over him. And so it's a good clean, nothing there. Aaron, you're a player, you wouldn't want that called, right?
No.
Yeah.
It's a good slide tackle.
And right here, white comes in and tries to get it. Two players challenging for that loose ball. But in the process, black goes through his knee, clears him out. So we go ahead and we make that call. So we call that one back and we give white a direct free kick from there. That one ended up being an important decision because on the direct free kick, white ended up having a really nice pass into the box. After it kind of bounced around a little bit, they scored almost immediately off of that restart. So it was an important one, but it looks like we got it right. So it's almost 5 minutes later before we have our next moment that we'll review. Black's got the ball and they're trying to bring it up from the back. And right here, white just kind of gives him a really gentle bump here, just enough to throw him off the ball. So in real time, it looks really gentle, but like there, I felt like it was enough that it disrupted what black was doing. And so I was trying to just call stuff from the beginning in this game. That's a bump in the back. Be okay if you let that go, but it's also a foul here, and we call it and give the direct free kick, which I think is perfectly fine. Just a few seconds after that one, the ball's kind of gone over to the other side of the field. Right here, we're going to see a dangerous play when black kicks his foot up. White is trying to get his head in there to kind of head the ball, but black's foot comes up like right at his face. It was really clear in my mind dangerous play for that higher kick, and we go ahead and we call that.
For the next decision point, we have an offsides on my side of the field. This white player, the ball's coming right towards him, and he plays a pretty nice through ball. At first, I thought I was going to go to those two white players kind of towards the left, and then it goes to him, and a pretty good offsides call. The black players are starting to run back, but when the ball is played, he's offside, so I raise my flag.
Just before halftime, we have a very straightforward trip. Right here, the ball is kind of up for grabs. As they come through, black just clips this white player right here, right on the ankle. He goes straight down. Very, very straightforward. End up calling that, granting the free kick. As soon as this free kick's taken and kind of it plays itself out, we blow this dead for the halftime.
This is the first call of the second half, and this is currently the first one that we think that we got wrong. Let's see.
Ball's kind of up for grabs here. Black really looks like he's going to come in and get it, but just at the last moment, white actually toe pokes it out, and then black initiates that contact after white's got it. So I end up blowing the whistle. I thought that was a trip. I thought that he got the ball, but then had some illegal contact afterwards, which is why I called it. But ultimately, looking at the video here, that's a good clean tackle. I don't think we should have called that. Aaron? How mad would you be if I called that?
I'd be pretty mad. It was a pretty good defensive play.
It was a good defensive play. So that'll be our first deduction on the match. So immediately following the free kick from that last call, we see here the ball comes in and it's bouncing around, and I call a foul right there. And what I'm actually calling is right here, this white player ends up shoving. You can't really see it from this angle because the camera's looking directly through white's back, but I've got an angle where I'm looking at it from the side. I see exactly what happens, and white just shoves him in the back there, pushes him really hard, and try to play it in slow motion. You'll actually watch this black player stumble forward right there. See him chugging forward off of his balance. So clear foul. I saw it from where I was standing. Not as clear here on camera, but definitely the right call. No more than a minute later, we've got a jumping into call here where the ball is kind of up for grabs here, but right there, as this number 44 goes up, he doesn't go straight up. He goes forward and into the black player. So had he gone straight up there, it would have been perfectly clean. But in this case, he jumped into the black player. So I end up calling that. Now, you end up sometimes you get confused on the directions out there. I end up signaling the wrong direction, and then I end up realizing my mistake, and I pat my chest and say, "No, no, sorry, I got it wrong," and I go the other way. That's funny. You hear him on the audio here first saying "thank you," and then "what," and then "oh yeah, yeah, there you got it." So let's listen to it.
Thank you, Red. What? Come on, chicken. All good.
Yeah, so it happens.
Yeah, especially in the beginning of the second half, like you get confused so much because they switch sides. It happens to all of us.
Yeah, for sure. Here we're going to see a foul that we just can't agree on. It was a call for a push on the field. Black is on the attack. They've got this player goes through. He gets past a couple of defenders. Right there, White gets the ball, kicks it away. He's got his back now to the player who he just stole it from. And then right after that, there's a push there, pushes him off of it. That's what I called. And I gave the ball to the White team for a free kick. Now, Aaron, you were saying you don't, you think that's pretty light, huh?
I think it's very light, especially since he was dribbling. He went through two defenders. I think he was off balance going for the ball.
I could see going either way here, so we're going to end up deducting half a point since we can't really agree. A short time later in the game, I got a throw in here, and I ended up calling a handball for something that happens right after. The throw in happens, and right there, you see the white player trying to get to it. He kind of clips that black player both on the ankle as well as pushes him a little bit. I did not really see it that way on the field. I thought it was kind of 50-50 challenge, but looking at the video, it looks pretty clear. It does bounce up and it hits the player on the hand. I end up calling the handball, but I do think there was a push here first. So that's going to be a deduction because I should have just called the push or the trip, whichever that was, and given it to Black for a direct kick. We also heard some noise on the sideline on this. Let's listen to that.
How about the foul first? How about the trip first?
Yeah, so you hear them there say, hey, how about the foul first? How about the trip? Ultimately, in looking at this, they're right. This has been a pretty chill game up to this point. It does get more heated, and in fact, we get a number of yellow cards by the time this game is all said and done. And it's almost like this call ended up like triggering in their mind. Suddenly, they thought I was against, which is really weird because at this point, I feel like most of the calls have actually gone in Black's favor.
Currently, the calls that have been in favor of them have been 13 calls for Woodland and only 6 for Folsom. So most of them have been in Woodland's favor.
Here we're going to see a play where there was a very, very clear trip and a yellow card. Black has possession. He's trying to clear it out here. The ball kind of comes up, and this white player comes in and steals it and has a really good look at goal. I saw him about to drive in, and then just right there, Black clips him on the ankle and he goes down. I immediately blow my whistle. From my angle, he looked almost unopposed. I did see this player off to the left. So when I came over here, I quickly pull out my yellow card and give him a yellow card. And the player was just, he was even like, he's like, yeah, I know. Right. But I will tell you, I was thinking, should this be a red on my way over? I'm really glad that I ended up going with the yellow card here and not the red because I would have regretted it after watching it here on the video. But I did really think about it there. Ultimately, this player off to the left was the one who, him being there convinced me not to. So a good sequence there and our first yellow card of the match. Before we get to the rest of the game, just a quick public service announcement. I have been experimenting with a couple of different microphones set up to try to get better audio, and in the process, you'll see that we have an echo for a lot of the rest of this game, so just bear with us through that, and we'll try to make it better for future videos. So here we've got a very interesting sequence of events that it starts with a no call. Then we get some dissent from the keeper on the very far end of the field, and we go down and we deal with that with a yellow card. So let's watch here. So Black's on the attack. This player has the ball and he's going into the box. Let's watch it in real time. So he's in the box. White challenges there and picks his pocket and basically takes the ball from him. And Black falls down. Bringing this back and watching this in slow motion, I still think it's the right call. I mean, right there, they're going shoulder to shoulder. Black's trying to get around, but White sticks his foot in there, steals the ball. I still don't see any arm out. I had even a better angle on it than the camera here. When I was on the field, I didn't see any push. I think White just took it from him, did a really nice play. Immediately after that no call, which we agree here was a good no call, we get some audio here. It's really faint, so we'll play it. But you hear the keeper on the far end of the field. Now, remember, he's 100 yards away, right? So there's no way he sees what happens there. And the fact that he's 60 yards away from the camera, the fact that it even picks it up, tells you how loud he was. But you hear him say, "Ref, you gotta open your eyes, ref."
So once I hear the "Ref, open your eyes, ref," I am just wondering, when is he going to deal with it? Because, like, I know that he's over here, he's gonna give out a card. I already know in my heart's of hearts. So I'm over here eating popcorn. I'm like,
What's gonna happen?
oh no, I'm like looking over, I'm like, bro, this is gonna get real quick. So at this point, I'm just waiting it till like the ball goes out of play or something like that. But he actually ends the play like a bit early in that, and so he just blows the whistle and is like, poof, poof, and then he like sprints over to the other side. And I'm over here like,
I wait for them to clear the box, but I immediately blow my whistle. I want to go deal with that because it was very public, it was very personal, it was very provocative, and I start running down to that end, right? Switching up our camera angle here, you see me run down, he even starts to walk away. I'm like, no, we're going to talk about this. So I give him the yellow card, and then I just tell him, man, like, that's not acceptable. You know that's not acceptable. Like, I'm not going to put up with that in this game. So I give him the yellow card. If I pull up the laws of the game here, I'm going to IFAB Law 12, which in Section 4, restart a play after fouls and misconduct. If I look right here, it's got all verbal offenses are penalized with an indirect free kick. And so, given that I stopped play, the correct thing that I should have done was bring it back here and done an indirect kick here. Now, what I really should have done is waited until another stoppage and then gone and given the yellow card, because then I could just restart wherever. So ended up getting this call right and getting the yellow card right to that player. I do get the restart wrong here, but that's a learning opportunity here. And frankly, had I given an indirect free kick down there, I probably would have had a riot on my hands from the sideline. So, lesson learned for me, just wait till the next natural stoppage next time. So after all of that fun stuff, a couple minutes later, we have our next decision. Ball's coming out here, and then right here, you can't really see it from this angle because you're looking through the white player and into the black player. But where I had the angle looking between them, what happened there was Black jumped up to get the ball and White just charged underneath him and took out his legs. So I ended up calling that for a charge. The white team wanted the black player for jumping into, but that wasn't the case here. Black jumped up and White ran under him. So I make that call, and I give the direct free kick to Black just outside the box. So almost 10 minutes goes by in this game with really no other decisions that need to be made until this call here. So it's in the far corner, and White's coming around, trying to be on the attack, and right there, Black just, from my angle, I saw him just get his leg, and he falls down, going out of bounds.
yeah, it was right in front of me. I definitely thought that it was a foul for White, and I didn't really understand why all of the black players were complaining because it was clear that it was a foul.
So yeah, they started to get upset about this one, and you see here, even there's a couple players that come up and they're really like asking, like, why did you call that? And at some point here, they start to imply that I'm being biased towards the other team. I think here I even tell them, like, guys, I wasn't born yesterday, right? Like, that's a foul. Like, you tripped him. Like, I'm gonna call that every single time. Don't try to pull the wool over my eyes and tell me there wasn't nothing there. So here on the restart, he's got it lined up on the line. But this black player comes in and intentionally gets up to stop him from being able to do that restart. And I had even told him to go back. You can't really see it because it's so far away. But I end up going in and I give, I think it's number 5 here, a yellow card for delaying the restart. So I just felt like they were trying to remove White's advantage. Both of the foul's correct, and I think the yellow card for delaying the restart's correct. Right after the direct free kick from the baseline, and we end up with a PK. So right here, this player gets just trucked through and pushed down. I am in perfect position to see that. I'm very close. I see it right there. So let's watch this in slow motion. White player here is the one who ends up getting trucked. This player that just came onto the screen there behind him is the one who comes through and just gets him right there with his hip and just sends him flying down on the ground. So, listen to the audio. I immediately blew my whistle. And you hear the white team, they're very excited, right? You know, they're glad that they got their PK, but the black team, they're coming up and complaining. Remember, they were just working me right after the last call. Here, they're back in my face again. But he's like, what? There's no way. Like, you're like calling it for them. I'm like, dude, like, it's a PK. Like, you chucked right through him. That's a penalty kick every day of the week and twice on Sunday, right? So, you know, it's a good call. Video clearly shows that it's correct. And I know that they're upset, and this kind of adds to it. And we see as this game goes on, we get some more dissent and some rapid yellow cards after this. We're getting closer to the end of the game here, and we have 2 quick decisions. One is a no call. So right here is a very nice slide tackle by this black player. Comes through, clears the ball out. White does trip over the top of him, but White initiates the contact at that point. Very good slide tackle. Got the ball and didn't initiate any illegal contacts. But then right after that, White gets up and really kind of throws his shoulder into him. Now, I ended up no calling that, thinking that it was shoulder to shoulder. But Aaron, you've been watching that a little bit there. What do you think of that?
He got him from behind a little bit right there. I don't think it was shoulder to shoulder.
Do you think it should have been a foul?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to have a deduction there for that one. 2 decisions, one of them right, one of them wrong. Just a few seconds after the last sequence of events, we've got one that happens here that, frankly, we just can't agree on. But let's watch it here, and I'll explain what I saw in real time. So White has the ball. Black comes in to challenge it here. Right there, Black tries to make a slide tackle and go through. And what I saw in real time there is I saw this black player come in, and to me, it looked like he jumped and he went in studs first with his leg straight, directly at the white player who had possession of the ball. Now, I openly acknowledge that the black player making the slide tackle gets 90-95% ball. It's mostly ball. But I also thought it was a very dangerous play. It was studs out, it was leg straight, and it had high velocity of speed. I thought he came through, got the ball, and then got some of White's ankle on the way by. But that's why I called it, and you see, I've already got my card out. So I saw that. I did not want those types of plays to continue. So I called the foul, and I immediately yellow card the player. Now, this is number 4. That'll be important later, because shortly later he gets another yellow card and gets sent off. But what I saw there on the field, what I see here on the camera, I still think that it's a foul. But Aaron, you're a defender. What do you think? We've watched this a little bit here.
I think it was a good slide tackle, and he got the ball. And with any good slide tackle, the player falls over the other player, and I still don't think it's a foul.
Yeah, so maybe we need you guys, you refs out there, tell us in the comments, what do you think about this one? Did we get this one right? because we can't agree, we're going to deduct a half a point for the call and a half a point for the yellow card, because if I'm wrong about the call, then I'm wrong about the yellow card too. I don't think I'm wrong. Aaron does think I'm wrong. It is what it is. Tell us what you think. So as they're working me, as they're talking, you see this number 26 here. He comes up and he starts making it really personal. He comes up and he basically says, "Hey, are you wearing a white jersey? You so want them to win." And like at that point, that's really personal. It's really not the right thing to do. So blow my whistle again, and I come over and I give number 26 the yellow card. So quick yellow cards there. This one for Dissent. But, it's really not correct for them to accuse us of being biased here. You watch this game, there's nothing biased about it. So, anyway, we deal with that, give him a yellow card for Dissent, and we move on.
Yeah, it's also really weird because when they actually started like trying to work in and saying that, oh, we're being biased, like even the like incorrect calls that like some of us think are that, they were very even. One would have gone to Folsom if we got it right, and one would have gone to Woodland. So at the point when they actually start working us, most of it has been very even. They just think they have the short end of the stick instead of it being that maybe they're just a bit more physical and not doing it in a legal manner.
Yeah. So in our final decision of this match, we've got a situation here where Black, I think, is trying to come back, and they're really wanting to get a free kick down here on the attacking third. So I judge that this player falls, kind of trying to draw a foul, and I'm not having any of it. I give him a no call. And then afterwards, they get upset again. So let's watch here. Right there, the ball's up for grabs. White comes in and barely touches him right there. And he just throws himself on the ground. So, like, there, perfectly upright. I didn't think that was a foul in real time. I definitely don't think it's a foul watching it here on the camera. I think Black is just trying to draw something, get a free kick from there, and try to get an attack as he knows time's about to expire. So I'm out there saying no foul there at all. But they're really upset at this point. So you actually watch here this number 4, who was the player just a moment ago who got the yellow card, comes over and he's really he's giving me the business, and again telling me, you're winning this for them, you're wearing a white jersey. So I'm like, I'm not having any of that. I've already carded with his teammate for it, so I give number 4 a yellow card there. After recording that, it's his second yellow. I pulled a red card out of my back pocket, give it to him as a red card. So let's listen to the audio on this one. You hear them there on the side. The parents are trying to draw it too, but they know it's the end of the game. They're trying to get that kick. They're still upset about even that penalty kick from earlier, which clearly we're right, but it is what it is. It ended up sending off that number 4 for Dissent, and then that's the final call of this game. After the match, one thing I thought was kind of cool was this keeper down here for Black, the one I had to give the yellow card for Dissent earlier. He actually walks up to me. He basically says, "Hey, sorry about that. You called a good game. I just want to tell you good job." Kudos to him for having at least good sportsmanship after the game. So let's see how we did. So with 35 decisions and 4.5 deductions, that gives us a Sapper score of 87.1%. So this was a good game. Frankly, I felt pretty good about it on the field. Yes, we had some missed calls here. The one that sticks the most with me is still that slide tackle, and the one we can't agree on, I still think it was right. Aaron still thinks it was wrong. But it was just crazy that at the end, the Black team thought that we were so biased when that wasn't the case at all. And the second thing being that there was just like 6 yellow cards in the second half, with 4 of them coming in the final 3 minutes. So it's just wild the way that played out, but it was an interesting game. Tune back in next Friday for our next game review. But thanks for joining us today. I'm Scott.
I'm Katie.
I'm Aaron.
And
we'll see you out on the pitch. I would like to say that I look majestic back there, I look so majestic looking upon the field.
The freak is bro talking about?
Yeah, Aaron, since you're near this age group, what would you say about this play? Would you want it to be called?
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty easy offside.
Can we get Katie's part of saying pretty easy offsides? Like it's not even her call. Hey, Katie, what's your positioning right now? What is this?
I'm walking.
I'm seeing these people at the half line, and you're all the way back there.
Oh,
You're always talking about how
somebody's out of
amazing.
position.
You're always talking about how amazing your positioning is.
Yeah, when there's actually a play going on.
And
it's
let's
in
see where she
position.
gets by the time they restart it. That's when you can judge it.
Oh look! Me at the center! Me at the center! Me right where I need to.
Just looking at the disagree, given that.
I don't know. I think that's a good call.
That's a charming, ultra soft call.
Yeah, but since you said that we were able to like pan, can we pan to see my face once he like says that?
We will not be able to see your face from this far away. It's actually pretty hard to see.
That's why you gotta get up
That's why you
close.
guys close.
Alright. Hold on, wait. Bro, it's like blurry. I can't see. Hold on, go back. Yeah! Head on me! Head on me! I saw he went. Boom! Yo.
Yo.
Alright.
Why did we never know this?
I thought it was very dangerous.
Like straight up.
Can we get
I
a
thought it was
replay?
Very
A
reckless.
replay? I still don't think it was a foul.
Can we get
I can't agree with you on that one.
Can we get slow-mo?
From a player, I just not gonna happen. All ball, ref. All ball.
If you said that that was not a call, you should not be
There
saying
is
that
no
that
way
is a
that's
call.
there's
That is
no
no
way.
way.
No way that's
No
Look
way.
at that.
No, literally like bump shoulder to shoulder and he's like, ooh, call something for me.
Stop picking up. Like, seriously, do you think that's a foul? Like,
Maybe not.